What's up, everyone? NanMan here, and it's been a while since we've put some videos up on this channel. So we do have, of course, some RTS action coming up soon. Got, of course, the Stormgate has their big release of things, but I wanted to show you guys some other cool games that we've been playing lately. Of course, we are big fans of the RTS side of things, and Blizzard in particular with StarCraft and stuff like that, but we also like to hang out and play some MOBAs and stuff like that. So I got a couple of these VODs for you to be able to watch. This is just like a quick match. We're just hanging out, having fun, doing some gaming with friends. Of course, we can kind of show off a little bit of who is playing who and kind of get in and do a little bit of commentary with HOTS. If you're not familiar, it is a MOBA, but different than most MOBAs out there because you are kind of doing an objective-based map every time, where most MOBAs, like if you think of League of Legends or Dota 2 or things like that, they are much more focused on how are you soaking up lanes and stuff like that. But if you are not familiar with HOTS, it is XP based, where XP is shared amongst both teams here. So we do have a little bit of a scrap at the beginning here, fighting it out at the center with these players kind of battling out. We've got Asmo, we've got Viridin. I keep wanting to say Muradin there, but no, Varian up here as well, battling out against the rest of the squad here. But yeah, so the objectives on this map we will get into once they pop up here, but it is shared XP, so if you are having a hard time in your lane, for example, you could easily be able to fall behind in, say, Dota or League of Legends, where your individual, level disappears, right? And you go, well, I'm like 4 levels below this other person. I fall behind here. Where in this, it doesn't matter. We could have someone that is soaking and pushing up and getting a lot of XP. You can see the levels between the two teams are up here at the top bar, and you can see our blue team is just slightly ahead in that, and big part of that is because of this Phoenix down here doing a nice little hard push over and being able to kind of soak up. But yeah, we see nice little kind of push back here as we do have some additional support coming out. But our first big little bit of push and trades taking place here. I'll do my best to try to keep track of it the best that I can, because this, again, we're getting back into it, getting used to the way things work. But let's talk a little bit about the heroes here. We do have an Abathur that is on our red hand side here. So of course, Abathur is that great solo lane pusher here. Is set up, can put a hat. You see this little minion on top of a minion or a hero and deal a little bit of extra damage. We've got these toxic nests that we get to be able to lay down and drop down and give us a little bit more vision. So we are going basically lane pushing. You notice how we are able to summon our own little minions here, and we have increased health and damage from those, so that is a nice little bonus side of things here. But we did get a little bit of snipe off on the Phoenix going off there, so that is a little bit of a challenge here. But we have objectives popping. This is a very objective and base oriented map, so if you're thinking about how things are working, it is all about keeping your structures alive, because the way it is set up is you have this Sky Temple locations. It'll pop different locations on the map. We've got one in the center, one at the top, and you need to be able to control those specific locations for a set amount of time, and you will just start bombarding your enemies' bases with this. So at this point in time, red team does have a little bit more control of things, but let's get over and get the full vision of things here. And a little bit of fighting taking place all over the map here. It looks like, ooh, Siege Tank does get away, but we have control over up here with Nova taking control of the top tower. Center looks like we'll have a little bit of contention, but minions will spawn, and you can see there is this little marker here on this tower that indicates how many individual shots are going to get fired at the enemy structures. So it is very important to keep track of how many structures are, and Varian trying to go in, wanting to kind of dive in on that weak Gul'dan, but going to get sniped off there very quickly here. In the meantime, we do see a Sergeant Hammer is sieging up here, but is in range of the tower, so will get sniped off there. So that is a nice little clean up there. A little bit of it is very much reliant on what is your placement on the map to try to be able to sneak in and take those towers out. And the red team does have a very lane oriented pushing team, both with Abathur Asmodean, and that Sergeant Hammer. So that is something to kind of keep track of here. But you can see we've got, close in kills, close in levels between the two teams here. As we get our little bit of talents popping up, we'll take a look and see exactly what everybody is going for here as we kind of get into this. And it looks like we might have a little bit of fight taking place across the board between both these teams. It looks like Gul'dan going to get sniped off here. We'll talk about talents in a second. Yeah, but there's that Abathur hat going to help out as well, provide a little bit of extra damage. Will Zarya get out too? And looks like she is going to be able to... Oh, wait, going back in? Danger mode here. Got to be careful. So, of course, Asmodean helping out here. And, even a Nova. All right, that was a very risky move. Did she think that the rest of the team had already backed off, but they were actually hiding just out of sight? That is that one little challenge there that does take place here, is we do have limited amount of vision. We've got like all radar turned on. You can't really tell, but looks like we are going to get in the thick of things. But this is a 2v3 coming up here. Gul'dan shows up to try to help kind of even the fight out overall, but then we got to see a snipe on the Hammer again, trying to be able to push its own lane down at the bottom. Not really going to be able to make that happen, but Gul'dan going to get sniped off again, so things are looking a little bit tough. Even up those 6 and 6 between both the teams here, so things are pretty even across the board with kills, but we do see slight increase in XP route for our blue team. But Blaze does jump back in here. We'll be able to kind of push back this team here, so holding the line there. Nice little bit of the tank action from Blaze, able to kind of put a stopper on things, but doesn't want to get too greedy. Got to be careful. Still getting that nice little stun. So CC is extremely important in this game, and really we've only got one little bit of CC going on, and that is Blaze's stun. On the other side of things, we do have a little bit of that as well, basically with Varian, and that's it. But now you get to see it is very much a even count in structures. You can see between both teams here, 6 and 6. So we'll see some changes to that as things progress here. But still fighting over this tower, fighting up at the top. Ult's going to get used here, and this is that huge little bit of victory, being able to have access to your ult before your opponents there. But there, do we get the extra kill? No. Ooh. So trade off 1 for 1. Asmo for Blaze. Down at the bottom, we do see the next little bit of capturing of our objective take place here. And here's a little bit of structures. You can see kind of the pot shots going off on the structures at this point in time. So, but ults are around for both teams here. So let's talk a little bit about what ults everybody is going for. You can see a little bit of Abathur's ult here. This is that monstrosity. So the more that this stays out on the battlefield, the more that it kills minions, the stronger that it will get and make it more and more effective for that lane pushing. On the other side of the thing, we do see Sergeant Hammer and trying to get kill, or trying to push its way in there, and oh my gosh, that X strike not quite hitting there. But yeah, we do see a big scrap taking place, fighting over the tower. Gul'dan left all alone to be sniped off again. Zarya trying to go back in, not the right time to be going in here, but we do see a Blaze coming to try to save the day here, and Nova very, very low health. Ooh, Genji in trouble, going to try to block his way out of there, and will get sniped off in the air. There's the ult there for Zarya. Blaze trying to burn things out, will snipe off Nova, but does trade off again. So very, very back and forth. Both teams very aggressive. This is the thing about quick match sometimes, is you get no healer games, and it is just all scrap all the time, really kind of laying into each other here. So let's get in and talk a little bit about other people's ult. We've got to see, of course, the shield wall. That's that protection. We also went for taunt. That's the other thing with Varian. He went for the tank build here, so we can kind of make one enemy hero basically just focus in on him and allow the kind of teammates to be able to wail down and do a lot of damage. Asmo going all in on this gluttony, this greed, Art of Chaos style, with his own little bombs away here, as you can see him dunking from far away. The Tide of Sin does make that a little bit more powerful, that extra damage there. We've got to see a little bit of this blunt force gun. Now, back in the day, this big old alt cannon of Sergeant Hammer used to be able to deal damage to structures. No longer the case, that it only deals damage to minions and heroes. So there is that little bit of note to take place there. On our blue team, we do have Horrify for Gul'dan, going for a little bit of that kind of fear effect. We did get to see our Gravity Bomb, our Gravitational Surge. There it is again coming out for Zarya. But oh my gosh, lots of damage coming down from the tower. But Blaze going back in, trying for the push, getting greedy there on that Nova, and will be punished for it here. On the other side, we do see Varian continue to put the pressure forward here, and big bombs coming out from Sergeant Hammer. Nova's ult coming in and will be able to snipe. So red team will clean up and get free reign of the boss. There is one boss up on this map, and we do get to see that kind of grabbing that all together. So if we're talking about how many structures are available, already red team is starting to kind of run away with things. They have 5 structures, 5 forts in particular, still allowing them to kind of be able to kind of get that lead on a map that is so dependent on how many structures you have, because once you start getting these, especially later in the game, this just really chunks forts and will be able to make it very, very difficult to deal with here. But you can see red team getting ahead in the kills as well, 15-10. 5 structures to 4, so they will be able to secure this bottom structure. And it looks like blue team kind of rallying up to be able to take over the top, and really trying to make sure that they can be able to secure this. So we do get the fight taking place. Blaze going to come in, Gravitation going to go down and trapping that Varian there. But of course, being in tank mode, he is very hardy and very capable of trying to survive this. But Genji coming in, trying for the snipe here. We see all of those shurikens coming in, tries for the ult, but misses it out on everybody there, and will be kind of backing up. Another ult going to be coming down from Gul'dan with the fear here. Genji trying to chase down Nova, but no kills across. We do get a structure taking place, and Blaze still holding the line, holding this down, as well as Sergeant Hammer there, going to be able to secure that. So both teams able to manage to grab the fort. The boss still putting some work in down there, will get cleaned up there. We could see a big wave of minions pushing up at the top. Abathur here, of course, because he went for his ult and his focus on minions here, he will be able to clean up that structure, no problem. But oh, Blaze going in. We see Gul'dan went down, pops his ult, but it is not enough. In the meantime, we do see a fight over here, Sergeant Hammer versus Genji, and we will see that nice little deflection come down and kind of the zip and flip and get on out of there, and kind of waiting for cooldowns. There's Phoenix going to come and help support, start dropping down a lot of extra damage, and there's the dive in to clean him up. So this is going to be one of those things where you want to keep pushing in and trying to do the solo, but oh my gosh, Varian got the snipe. Genji tried to escape, not able to there. So it is going to be a lot of that isolate, try to find individual troops that you can be able to kill off. One hero just kind of left out on his own and be able to clean that one up, and allowing something like this to take place, where we do have our, monstrosity continuing to power up, continuing to be able to get some more kills, get stronger, and allow for that single lane push. So we do see blue team kind of moving up to the top, red team securing all of these at the bottom, and the monstrosity was able to escape. That's kind of one of the benefits of being able to put the hat on it. You get to be able to kind of zip around. Now, if you're not playing on a team fight oriented map, you might go for a different ult here, but we are seeing the cleanup of the monstrosity here. In the meantime, big push coming south. Nova trying to push in, trying to get some kills. Another fort goes down. Now it's 4-2 in the structure count here. And Varian going to dive in here, going for Zarya. Will he be able to get the kill? And oh my gosh, Nova trying to do some blasting. Nova will actually get killed off by Phoenix, and Zarya manages to escape, get inside of the base, get a little bit of heal up, and there's the ult trapping Varian at the fort here. He will start going down swinging, trying to attack the fort, but it's not going to matter. Now he's going right for Phoenix and will get cleaned up. Wow, Phoenix, how much health did you have there? That was crazy. 100 health left before he was able to get sniped off there. So, yeah, that was crazy. Okay, so let's get over here. We got Sergeant Hammer putting in work over here. This is, again, there's very limited structures left, so we will see that attempt to go off, but Gul'dan will be able to clean him up. Now, if you go for we see the movement in siege mode. That is one of those things where you do have a speed boost that you can do, like where other heroes get to mount up in this game. There we see that speed boost getting utilized. Press Z and you get your thrusters, and you can kind of get in, get out of there. But we do see kind of the cleanup of Gul'dan trying to get in there, but you got to stand on the actual marker there. You can see it start to light up and give indication that blue team does have control over this and will be shelling that down, but taking advantage as we see kill-wise. All right, 18 kills to 14 kills, 4 forts to 2. Red team still in the lead here, but right this moment in time, we do see blue team taking over all of the structures, going for the objectives. And objectives are the key to this game compared to maybe other MOBAs, but we're going to see as red team spawns up how they're going to be able to fight everything. Big push coming out from Abathur here. We do see Sergeant Hammer as well trying to set themselves up for a big push through mid, but Blaze going to be pushed off of the site. Monstrosity shows up. Where's the rest of the team for support? It's going to be tough here. We see kind of moving in, hard focusing on Gul'dan. There is the ult getting utilized, trying to fear him off, and will clean up Gul'dan, but it looks like Varian will lose his life in the process there. So it is a little bit of a scramble there. Nova trying to come in a little bit late to the fight. And then we see Monstrosity killed off as well. And oh, Nova found the kill she was looking for and will be able to take out, of course, Blaze there. And Nova, does she escape? Looks like she will be able to. And there is the ult, but will go down. Oh my gosh. Great save for Phoenix. Saves Genji's life. And we do see Sergeant Hammer and Abathur showing up, really pushing in. Again, the goal is to try to a single push and take out as many forts. And it looks like they are going to be able to do that here with the support of the minions, with the support of this, but actually 2 heroes here. This might be enough to save it. That fort going down, and we do see again the ult no longer deals damage to structures, or this would be a very quick and easy game for Sergeant Hammer. But Abathur, is he able to escape in all of this? He's on the run. Looks like, yeah, he was just waiting for his deep tunnel. Pops his swarm there and will be able to escape his way on out. But you can see the rest of the red team is dead, so he is kind of in that scramble mode trying to get himself back on over here. So at this point in time, it is, again, structures are the name of the game. Oh my gosh, Zarya had a really nice push up here trying to help out. Will be able to pop an ult and will be able to escape from here, hopefully. Yep, mounting up, getting on out. In the meantime, because so many of the red team were dead, they have to be in scramble mode trying to deal with this top push. We also got to see Varian was there. That means that the boss is now available for blue team to come in and snipe. Of course, that ult there is around the world because we did hit that level 20. So that means that this gets to be able to kind of circle the planet, go every 5 seconds, and keep circling around. Abathur continuing to be annoying, popping up all over the map, dropping down, and really going for that heavy wave push. I mean, there's 1 fort left to 3, so this boss really has to put in a lot of work at this bottom, cleaning up this, and we're basically showing, let's show again just how much vision is available, because vision does make a big difference in this map. So we see Gul'dan putting in work down here, but at the top of things, we've got, yeah, lots of red sight here, but you see we've got big fights happening over at the north. Genji as well as Phoenix going for that single target, finding that one lone hero by himself. Will be able to clean that up. On the other side of thing, Blaze popping his ult. There is the Gul'dan fear coming out here, and we do see Blaze falling back. Varian trying to chase him down. Asmodan goes down, and we see Gul'dan doing the best he can. Blaze is not done going back in, but it is dangerous. He's super low health, and with that Abathur hat, it is going to make it really, really tough. But you can see that's the thing about the tank mentality. It's like you go, okay, it's time to go back in, and he does, and gets the snipe on Nova. When most players would have backed up and said, nope, we're not going to deal with this. We're backing up. We're going to kind of reset, hearth up, and be ready for the next thing. We are pushing in, and it looks like things have had a big shift, big turn here. 3 forts to 1, 22, of course, kills for blue team, 20 kills there for the red team, both teams at level 22. Oh, Zarya getting sniped off there. So this would be that mentality where a lot of people would just like, all right, push, end it, let's go. But again, it is quick match. Let's just sort of, you know, when we're ahead, get more ahead. You could see that kind of Gul'dan wants to push in. Blaze still, you know, getting back his health. We lost Zarya there, so it's like, all right, yes, we could probably push, but with everybody popping up, it'll be like 3v2 in that situation. Genji's over here doing the objective and getting chunked for it. Phoenix going to show up here, and now we see Abathur trying to find his way back on the map. This is the indication of a good Abathur, though. Your Abathur should be active, should be looking for these areas that he can be able to find a way to kind of push in. You see Phoenix is kind of basically on hunting mode and trying to be able to find him and do that. All right, we do see the, oh my gosh, Gul'dan trying to save the day. Oh, that was huge. So that's that kind of level 20 there. He was able to teleport back to base and save himself there. Blaze being able to snipe off Asmo. Nova tried to be able to get the ult off, did not work there, but Phoenix teleporting in. We see the taunt, but it is not enough. Will he also be able to clean up Nova and does the blink forward here? And will he get it? Oh, we do see the pop. Nova did pop that extra cloak there. Will be able to run away and zip back on over to base. But, oh, look at this. There's the ult again. See you later. Cleaning him up. No problem. That shield worked out great, but Sergeant Hammer continuing to push his way forward here. Things are getting crazy. Still 1-4-1. So maybe we could have ended it before, but this is kind of the safe route, trying to stabilize for both teams. But there, Sergeant Hammer is going to be pounced on by Genji and cleaned up there. So this helps put a stop to this, but a lot of this has been just sort of, okay, both players or both teams are kind of in this, like, how can we be able to get out of our base, get back on the map? How can we be able to set ourselves up for the next objective? Because we do have one up in the top and one at the south coming up in the near future. So both players or both teams are going to be prepping and getting ready for it. You can see death timers are popping up very soon here, but let's take a look at some of the stats while we're waiting here. Just how many deaths. Lots of deaths across the board, but the big ones to make note of is this Sergeant Hammer has died 8 times here. Abathur has died 2, and Abathur dying 2 times is like almost unheard of in maps there, so that is one of those tough challenges. But nobody on the blue team has less than 3 deaths, so there is that mentality to kind of think of there. But Genji trying to go in, trying to get a little bit of a snipe off there, but not really able to. And there we see the setup, getting ready for a fight here in the north. Meantime, we have a huge wave pushing in the south from Abathur, but this is kind of that setup. How can you be able to rely on the objectives as this game has gone on for 20 minutes now to be able to rely on just the objectives to win the game? Because we'll see just how much damage these are. Yes, we do see that Abathur is trying to heal this up, but look at this. It is just chunking this apart here. But there's the push from red team. Gul'dan getting caught out, immediately pops his ult, but Nova is focusing him down completely. There's the ult from Phoenix, going to start barraging down with missiles, trying to make something happen. In the meantime, Blaze and Genji still holding the line, just waiting. Zarya showing up here in the south, going to go just objective base. Blaze going in here and will be popping his ult of combustion, taking out Azmodan, and there is the follow-up. Will it be enough? Genji using his ult actually to run away there, and this is tough here. Blaze still holding the line. All these heroes are super low, but that was enough. Get in, get out. Nova wanting to get a kill, but not able to. In the bottom, it looks like Zarya holding off the best that she can, but is not really able to fight 1v1 against Varian, just slicing and dicing his way through. So he will gain control of this. So our fort count, we've got to see just with objectives. We got rid of the fort. We've dropped the base down to 20%. Phoenix going to show up here and put a stop, or at least attempt to stop Varian here, and it is a fight over the control of the tower. If that blue team gets this, they get to win this game with this one location. And there it is. GG's getting called across the board. So as the game starting out with red team really being ahead, we do get to see Blaze walking his way in. He says, yep, let's do it. I'm going to make my way over there, but GG is called. We do see blue team takes the victory there. What a way to show off a little bit of HOTS, you know, a little bit of the fun quick match adventures there. And of course, we had to broadcast this one because we're the MVP. Why would we not? 11 kills. We're hunting down and really taking care of the enemy team. But big other shout outs, of course, you could see just how much contributions some of these team members were going for, being able to stay on point. That's huge. So almost 200,000 siege damage from Abathur alone. So Abathur really putting in the work. That with the Sergeant Hammer going through here. But yeah, very, very cool game. This is a little bit of a snapshot of what quick match is about. When you just kind of queue up randomly, you might not have a you know, a normal consistent game. It might just be a little bit crazy, but they tend to be scrappier when you don't have heroes in it. If you want to play like the draft mode, of course, that is rank mode, but we've got a couple more quick match games to be able to show you guys, as well as some RTS action with some Stormgate stuff coming up, as well as some, you know, more fun adventures, some Zero Space and stuff like that. But hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, we'll start posting up some more gameplay stuff on this channel, but if you want to see some of the Magic the Gathering content, head over to NanMan's Nerd Corner. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone, and I'll see you all next game.